card check legislation. Involves secret union ballot, secret elections for union representation in the workplace. And the legislation that's currently been drafted will do away with secret ballot elections. Nearly 100% of business community and 80% of rank and file business or rank and file union members oppose this card check legislation. I think your record indicates you voted for it twice, and I would just be curious as to your reasoning about that.
Well, I appreciate that question, Warren, and I want to take my hat off to the Club for Growth. I appreciate your all's efforts in, I think, shrinking the size of the Republican Party. So please keep that up, because the more folks you can get on the right-hand end of things, the far right, and squeeze out the moderate Republicans, the more of those come over to the Democrats. In any event, that being said, I think it's extremely important to have fair labor laws, fair labor standards, and the ability of people. If you look at the history of this country, in my opinion, the labor union movement has been extremely important in average people in this country having the ability to make a decent wage. And I will always be in support of the average citizen that I represent. And I want them to make a living wage. What we're seeing in this country, and I know it's a thorny problem, but I'm deeply afraid that we're heading toward a race to the bottom where labor standards are concerned. And the more that we back off of labor standards with a goal toward being able to compete in a global economy with many cultures and many countries that provide labor at a much lower rate, we're going to end up having a lot of people in this country, increasing number of people, who don't make a living wage. Now, what you've got to have, if you've got a business in this country, you've got to have people to sell the goods and the services that you produce to. And those people have to be able to make a living wage. And I think that this is one of those measures that ultimately, and we're looking for balance. I don't want to hurt businesses in such a way that runs them out of business. And I think people have different opinions, obviously, about whether some of these measures may or may not do that. But balance is what I'm looking for, and I want our people to make a living wage, and at the same time I want our businesses to be healthy. There's a symbiotic relationship there, and if we have a race to the bottom and the people who work for us and work for a living can't make a living wage, then we're hurting everybody. I will always believe, and it's one of the reasons that I'm in politics, I will always believe that it's extremely important and that our economy works best when our citizens have the ability to meaningfully participate in that economy. I think President Bush's tax cuts, frankly, have not led to that. I would have liked to have seen those tax cuts weighed more toward the middle class than toward the very wealthy in this country. Because what we've seen in the last several years is an enormous growing gap between the haves and the have-nots. And I don't think that's healthy. And frankly, I think it's one of the reasons why our economy's not doing as well as it could do. Anyway, there we are.